As democracies go, India's is a comparatively young one. It has a vast potential, but it is poverty-ridden and braves countless varieties of human miseries. It is still not in a position to provide social security cover to those who deserve it. Under these conditions, family is the only social organ of support for them. And in most cases, even the families of such suffering masses themselves need all the help in order barely to survive. Among these teeming millions are those who suffer from various forms of handicaps. They live because they are born, nearly all of them unwanted and unloved, as if they were children of lesser gods. They were born with a stigma in a society which harbors an ill-founded belief that these children are the result of the evils of some previous birth. Most of us see them, pity them, and pass by them. But how many of us care? Well, some do. The late Justice Rajkrishna Tankha, illustrious father of Mr. Vivek Krishna Tankha, was one of the rare few. One of his dreams was to bring succor to the mentally and physically handicapped. His son Vivek Tankha was later to fulfill his father's dream. Many years ago, he witnessed a heart-rending sight. A young boy was chained and left alone for the day by his parents who had gone out in pursuit of their livelihood. Rotarian Vivek was horrified at the trauma of this unfortunate soul. He decided to do something about it. And that was the moment Justice Tankha Memorial Rotary Institute for Spastic and Handicapped Children was conceived. On 18th April 1997, the Honorable Justice J.S. Verma, Chief Justice of India, inaugurated the Justice Tankha Memorial Rotary Institute for Spastic and Handicapped Children with just 7 young entrants. The place chosen was the Ahuja Rotary Parisar at Pachperi, Jabalpur. Mr. Vivek Tankha is the founder chairman of the trust which was formed to run this project in association with Rotary Club of Jabalpur. He still continues to serve this institute in this capacity to this day. Initially, the parents were a bit hesitant to send their handicapped children to this institute. Some were skeptic or reluctant. Some even accepted Mr. Tankha's offer of help with a stoic cynicism so characteristic of most Indians. The children chosen were ones who faced different types of challenges. There were speech and hearing impaired, the mentally retarded, hyperactive, or with Down syndrome, spastic, and cerebral palsy cases, and physically handicapped boys and girls. The children needed a capable, sensitive, and motivated staff who could empathize with them. As the time passed, a greater number of skilled teachers were employed. More facilities of games were created. Provision was made for the midday meal of these children. Gradually, the situation so arose that the children did not want to leave the school premises even after the day's work was over. They would demand to be sent to school even on holidays. Time rolled by. The dedication of the founder and his team of fellow Rotarians, along with the loving and competent teaching of the staff, brought the desired results. The popularity of the institute grew, as did the number of students. All along, the idea has always been to equip these boys and girls with such training as will give them useful and productive skills. They are being trained in computer applications, various art and craft work, typing, and so on. These in turn are helping them overcome their feeling of helplessness and building in them a sense of confidence in themselves. Assuredly, the rest will take care of itself. And time has proved that this has really been well achieved. More importantly, these variously challenged children should find themselves equal to any of their mainstream counterparts. Many of the students have happily been rehabilitated and are pursuing various professions, much to the satisfaction of their employers. Whereas once they were treated as a burden on their family, now many of them are able to contribute to the meager income of their families. Life for them has taken a complete U-turn. The summer of the year 2006 brought for these children a windfall of the greatest fortune any of us can ever dream of. The Institute planned to take them out on a trip to Kashmir under the leadership of Mr. Baldeep Singh Maini, Secretary of the Institute. Fellow Rotarians Lokesh Chaubey, Dilip Tiwari and Puneet Handa also joined the trip to lend a helping hand. Delhi happens to be en route. The Rotary International, especially Mr. Vivek Tankha, made hectic efforts to seek for these children 15 minutes of the President's time at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. The whole country knows our President's fondness for children and his innate compassion, especially in the case of the handicapped, is equally matched by his phenomenal erudition. He gladly granted the request. In their brief sojourn at Delhi en route Kashmir, the children found themselves face to face with His Excellency Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the President of India. This was more than dream come true for all of them. His Excellency's magnanimity easily allowed them to interact with him freely. They even gave an uninhibited performance before him, as is characteristic of such children. The President was so touched and thrilled that instead of the 15 minutes he had granted, he gave these children 45 minutes of his precious time. Needless to say that even we are not so fortunate. The Kashmir trip of these children was equally thrilling. Among other things, the children had a great time at the Dal Lake and Pahalgam. What is more, and this may be a little unbelievable to most of us, they put up a cultural program before the Kashmiri audience, which included members of the political class, the bureaucracy, and even the common man. Now, we all know how sensitively charged the social attitudes in Kashmir are. There is an ever-present hint of hostility and danger in the air. Notwithstanding all this, one of these children proudly carried the Indian tricolour, and difficult though it may be for many of us to believe, everyone present there heartily cheered the performance. One is left wondering how such things are made possible by these seemingly God-forsaken children, where stalwarts of politics have failed. The result of all this was that the children return as completely changed human beings. They say that good deeds bring good results. How true! The school today has more than 100 children, 14 teachers, and 2 school buses to bring the physically and mentally challenged to the school. The institute is being approached almost on a daily basis with more requests for admissions. Despair has been replaced by hope, inactivity by action, and humiliation by dignity. Children are now taking various public examinations and competing with their more fortunate counterparts. They are no longer objects to be pitied. More and more of them are becoming shining examples to be emulated by their fellow sufferers who have yet to avail of this opportunity. Such pioneering efforts prove that the milk of human kindness has not dried up. The Rotarians have always endeavored to live up to their motto, service above self. Let us ask ourselves whether this motto is to be limited only to the Rotarians. If one institute can change an unhappy lot into a happy and dignified group of confident young people, what will happen if many of us emulate the example set by Justice Tankha Memorial Rotary Institute for Spastic and Handicapped Children? What is preventing us from helping those who have not been as well blessed as we are? Will this journey of 10 years of Justice Tankha Memorial Rotary Institute be allowed to remain a lonely one, to serve as a beacon light for their despaired and despairing?
इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता, मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना। इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता, मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना। हम चले नेक रास्ते पे, हमसे भूल कर भी कोई भूल होना। इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता, मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना। हम चले नेक रास्ते पे, हमसे भूल कर भी कोई भूल होना। इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता, मन का विश्वास का